Yes, you have to start with you. Everything you saying is perfect, brother. You have to start with you. You have to start from within. And people, I tell people all the time on my show when they people ask me to talk about certain topics, right? So
Yeah.
they say, "Hey, what's up with Biden? What's up
Right.
with Trump?" I'm seeing them argue about that. They jumping on my man Q for what he trying to do,
Right.
and I say, yes, we should be aware of
Facts.
all of these things and get as much information as you feel you need to come
Facts.
with to come up with a conclusion. However, how your household do it?
Come on.
Can your son read?
Come on.
Why he got on $150 pair of shoes and his nose still snotty? So okay, we can get to all that, but first, let's turn it back to our families
Yes.
in the people that we affect every day. I
Every day.
tell black men all the time, you want to be a revolutionary? Look after your kids.
Let's go.
Care
Let's go.
about your family.
Come
There's
on.
levels to everything. But the first level is your house, family. I liken it to this. I think a house is like a small country, right? It
Mm.
has its own rules. It has its own determining factors. It
Yeah.
has a matriarch. It has a bake outside. You walk into somebody's house, it's gonna smell. It ain't gonna smell like your house. The feel ain't gonna be like your house.
Yeah.
It's their own little country. So you want to affect change. You want to affect the world. Make your country the best country it can be. Because when they leave the house, all they is when they leave the house is what they is in the house. When I see
Let's
kids in the
go.
store and they can't sit still or they're running around with their shoes untied, I
Right.
see the frustration in the parents' face. But really what they saying is, this is something we do in the house. You don't supposed to be doing this outside. That's
Right.
not how it work.
Right.
The house is the training ground, my man. So whatever they learn in that house, they're
Facts.
gonna take it outside. Now, if you embarrassed, that's your fault as a parent.
Facts.
You need to, man. Quick story. When I was 22, 23 years old, I had four sons, two
Mm.
different women, four sons. I'm in an apartment with my homeboy. I say, you know what? I'm not going to be in a relationship with these women. I got to
Mm.
take these kids to my house, right? I'm
Yeah.
thinking I'm being a man. Man, was this hard? Think about this. Four boys under 10 years old. So, do you hear me? So I got to feed them. I got a bedtime. I got to do homework. I got to take them baths, right? So at first, everybody's running around. They running over me, dog. I'm
Yeah.
like, sit down. Come here. Look, I had to, and I tell this story, but this is real. Now I can talk about it in hindsight. I would lock the bathroom door and get on my knees and pray. Like, come on now. So somebody,
I feel it. I feel it.
somebody help me. You know what I mean? But over time, I realized, how can I do this? I said, I gotta be stern
Mm.
and keep my word and mean what I say. So in this house, you ain't running around.
Yeah.
You sit right there, else. And it got to the point. I go to the supermarket, four sons, nobody touching nothing,
Mm.
nobody running, nobody touching nothing. People asking me, "What did you do?" Nothing. Our house is like a battlefield.
Right.
I,
Right.
I treat my house like a small country. You feel me?
Right.
So next question I have for you. You got a young man from our community, 12, 13, 14 years old. House kind of dysfunctional. Let's say he can't necessarily depend on the older people around him to guide him. What are some of the keys to him being successful, you think? What are some of the keys to him realizing who he needs to be for his future family? How would you help him?
The first thing that I would do is connect with that household or wherever he's going, right? Because here's the reality. I can give as much as I can give, but if you got to go back into an unstable environment,
Mm,
then all that I'm giving you might be great, but all that I'm giving you might not be sufficient for where you're going. So I need to
mm,
go into I need to go to the source. And I need to sit down with the source and have real courageous conversations about, hey, this is what I'm about to do and help this young man in. But at the same time, we need to be talking about how you going to help yourself and or how I'm going to help you, or I refer you to somebody to get that help, because it's going to be for naught if I give him all the game in the world and every day he comes back to you, he everything he just had is out the door, and now he's inundated with everything that you're giving. So the first thing I'm doing, I'm always tapping in with the family first. Like that's what I'm doing
mm.
off top. The second thing I'm doing, I'm going directly to what lights that young man up, what brings him joy, what he's passionate about. And I don't care what it is, right? It could be shooting dice, it could be smoking weed, it could be playing ball. I just need to know what wakes you up in the morning and what keep you up at night. Because if I can figure that out, I'm good enough to connect dots with you. I'm good enough to connect your passion and the thing that fires you up to finding some way to make it into your purpose. Right. And so I want to connect at a high level with this young man at the core of what fires him up. The next thing is we just going to run down a 10-step process of let's talk about your attitude. Let's talk about your motivation. Let's talk about your leadership, your organizational skills. Let's talk about the teamwork. Let's talk about these things that you can actually control your effort, right? What type of effort are you giving to becoming the best you that you want to be? Oh, you don't even know what that looks like? Well, let's start dreaming. Let's start dreaming about what the best version of you looks like. Because I can tell you what I think it should be. Your parents can tell you what they think it should be. But at the end of the day, at some point, you're going to have to make decisions for yourself. So first, let's dream about what that looks like. Then after we dream it, let's define it. Right? Let's take that dream, break it down to a definition. After we define it, now let's design it. That's where the goals, that's where the tasks come in. Here's what I tell people. Goal setting is really just lifestyle design. That's all it is. You designing how you want your life to be by the goals that you set, right? So we dream it, we define it, we design it, and then we decide. We make a decision. We say, this is what we came to. Are we going to do it? Are we not? My hope is that we will, because we went through this process. And after you say yes, then the last part is just do. Go and do it. Go and do it. Stop talking about it. Be about it. Because in your doing, you'll actually start becoming. Right. So if you have a 5-year, 10-year of who you see yourself becoming, I'm going to say, OK, we see that, but let's start leaning into that right now. Let's start being right now. Once we start being, the doing comes automatically. Doing is about behavior modification. Being is about heart transformation. I don't even have to think about it. I don't have to think about caring about my kids. What?